Well, I'm back, and as we all know, last night we had another day of playoff games, and it wouldn't be the playoffs if there wasn't already another media agenda that I could either push right now or just, get my Orlando certified Mickey Mouse checklist. Or at least that's what I would be doing. If anything that I saw last night really surprised me, outside of what Golden State Warrior fans are going to certainly use as bailout when they inevitably lose the Rocket series. I mean, you would do the same thing too if your second place player, the guy you traded for, gave a $60 million extension a year, mind you, a year, for is now injured. As you double down on your aging core instead of probably just starting a rebuild like everyone on the internet is going to say they told you to do. Now, I am not like those people. Because I actually did think that the Warriors should have rebuilded and just probably punted on Stephen Curry at this point. Because building around him would be really, really hard for them to do right. And it would be a lot easier to sell on him high. But he makes them a lot of money, so I can understand why they wouldn't want to do that. But, Luka got moved, so I thought, Steph could be moved. But that's neither here nor there. Golden State Warriors lost last night, and it has so much to do with Jimmy Butler being injured, but it has so little to do with Jimmy Butler being injured because Jalen Green, after having probably the worst performance of his life, I didn't talk about that in my previous video that I did, where I talked about this series because it was the first game of the series, and the first games of all series were recorded and uploaded in one video, so I didn't have enough time to go in depth on them. But today is a different day, and I have more than enough time to really dig into both of these teams. Now, the Golden State Warriors won in an unsurprising way that game, and I don't think I really talked about Jalen Green's bad performance because I just expected it to happen because it's Jalen Green, and it was his first game in the playoffs, and that is his second game as players because his play is more bipolar than some of my ex-girlfriends. He got his act together and had just an amazing performance, to be quite honest. Not only did he shoot 18 threes last night, which, first of all, 18 threes is insane. It's like there was very little mid-range shots from him. 18 threes is insane. He actually doubled what Stephen Curry's output. So he had the same he didn't have the same volume as him because he doubled his Stephen Curry's volume. From 3, mind you. Steph took 9 threes and he took 18 and made just as many percentage-wise. So Steph made 4 out of 9 threes. He made 8 out of 18 threes, which doesn't sound that impressive. It comes out to be around 44%, but I can assure you that is very hard to do. First of all, shooting 18 threes is hard to do in an NBA game. For your coach to have faith in you after you had such a terrible performance in your first game it's really difficult to ask of that of someone. And he does need to shoot a lot of threes, considering this team's spacing is terrible, and it is one of the only ways to ensure that anyone who actually has to operate in the arc, so basically all of your non-shooters, won't get double teamed immediately. He just absolutely exploded onto the scene. And Steph had a good game. Don't get it twisted. But did it match Jalen Green and Mr. I'm proving the doubters wrong, and who will probably have a subpar game 3 or just an okay game 3? He'll probably walk out of this series averaging 20 on decent-ish efficiency, and we'll be like, that's not how I remember the series, because you look over and go, 10 points this game, 38 this game, 21 the next game, 5 points the next game after that. I really don't know what happened there. And 17 the game after that. I guess that averages out to 20. Don't check my math. That would be wrong. Do not check my math. No, but I'm going to pull up the rest of the stats because I think last night's game was really interesting, and it was the second game of the night. And I do want to cover that one first because, truthfully, this is the one I have more detail to talk about. And also, I want to save my favorite team for last. So I guess I'll dreadedly have to cover Orlando's team, the Mickey Mouse Rangers, and the Mouseketools and whatnot, because they, despite having to play a game where Jason Tatum was not there, and despite Paolo having another great efficiency 30-point game, They managed to lose by 10. Now, I just want you to keep this in mind. For anyone who is thinking I thought Orlando could win a game. And I know you're saying to yourself, "Oh, you thought they could win a game at home." No, I thought they would beat Boston in Boston because Boston would get caught being lazy. I don't think they have a chance of beating them. Boston is one of the rare teams where they're actually better on the road. They're actually better on the road than they are at home. So if you think Orlando can win a game now, and your bracket has Orlando in 5 and 6, you better pray that in the playoffs that statistic does not hold true, because otherwise you kiss that bracket goodbye in the first round. To be fair though, considering you have to make most of your predictions there, I mean it's hard to get it right in the first place, let alone all the way through. But getting it right in the first round is the hardest part, because I mean there's the most teams going on. There's more things could happen. Yeah, Jimmy Butler getting injured last night was not on my bucket list. And Tatum not being able to play because of a bone bruise was also not on my bucket list. So there's already 2 stars that have been taken out of the series. If we're out of, but since those stars are out, another star that played last night, Tyler Hero. Now, me and my dad were shitting on Tyler Hero because my brother is a Miami Heat fan. Now, mind you, I still want to remind niggas, 2-0 on these niggas. 2-0 on these niggas, like these jerseys, 2-0 on these niggas. But yeah, not nearly as impressive in that department, but hey, we can't all have a 60+ win team, type shit. But anyway, yeah, no, let's see, that was Wednesday's game. Let's pull those up. All right. By the way, I always record these the day after because I think it would be a much better and interesting task to have me do this at full stamina, even if it means I might not remember something while I'm recording. All right, let's pull up that Rockets game real quick. Box score. I use NBA.com because it's the most efficient way to get all of the box scores, and because they actually give me a detailed one instead of using Google because I'd be lazy. All right, so obviously, let's see. Jimmy played how many minutes before he was injured? He played 7.5 minutes, so the game was really over right there. This is 7.5 minutes, close to 8. My bad. Okay, close to 8 minutes. The game is over by then, like immediately. The second I saw him fall like that, I was like, the game is over. When he fell, because of how hard he fell, I was considering that he might have broken his pelvis. I think they'll have him. Or it might be worse though. It could be a bone bruise, which is actually harder to recover from, if I remember correctly. Because a broken bone, that it'll stop hurting. It'll stop hurting sooner. The bone bruise is going to be a nagging injury for a while. Mind you, they just gave him a massive extension, so this is terrible news for the Warriors. Brandon Benchesky was also had a he also had food poisoning, but unlike Michael Jordan, it did not turn him into an ailing and a weakened superhero state. It turned him into Brandon Benchesky at the very worst version of himself. He played only 14 minutes, which obviously he needs to play more, especially if Jimmy Butler's not going to be playing for you. So he had a rough go of it. He did not hit any of his shots last night. He was very passive, and that's because he had food poisoning. So if Warriors fans feel bad, remember most of your players did not have what it took to win. Most of your important players at least did not have what it took to win that night. It was tough. Could have sworn Buddy Hield was worse though. Could have sworn he was worse. They're gonna need him to play in a better role than what he did. Gary Payton was also pretty bad for you guys. His defense was fine, but let's be honest, he needed to be somewhat of a positive on offense, and he was not that. Steph is going to be Steph. He only had 20 points, and that's because the defense was able to give him extra attention. And this is a great Houston Rockets team. Jesus Christ, Brand. Houston Rockets team that just really hangs their hat on the defensive end, so don't feel too bad about that either. What I will say is this series might be over. Like, it just might be over. There's really not much that this Warriors team can do without Jimmy Butler, in my opinion. So unless Jimmy Butler is going to put on a cape and be a superhero for this team and not just magically, and this is just gonna fuel Pat Riley's ego, by the way, that despite the fact that the Warriors won a playoff game with him, and despite the fact that these were both play-in teams, he's gonna be looking over like, we got the better end of the deal because we don't have to pay Jimmy Butler that much money. And this happens almost every time he trades a player. Where like, yeah, I mean, like, I traded them at this stage for a reason. That's, hey man, if they get an injury, I don't want to be liable with paying them for that much. And this happens every time Pat Riley trades a player. At this point, though, I would call it luck at this very moment. I don't know. He's going to get his MRI. There's not really much more I could say about this game because all of the basketball elements of this game were just repeats of game one, but in reverse. It was a stick fight out. A stick fight. It was a rock fight out there. Fred VanVleet with another poor game. He needs to bounce back if this team wants to actually do anything once they get into the second round, because I'm going to be honest, again, I think this series is over at this point in time, because unless Steph Curry becomes 2021 Steph Curry or even 2022 Steph Curry, this is not going to go anywhere. He doesn't have the supporting cast to make this work, to be honest, and I'm not expecting someone who's 36, I think, to really be able to rewind the clock like this. Everybody is not LeBron, bro. Everybody is not. And I mean like LeBron at the age of 36, just so we're clear. LeBron at 40 is fine, I guess. For a star, just so we're clear, not like for an NBA player. Yeah, we're just gonna have to transition into the match. I thought this game was more interesting. My brain is just super foggy, apparently. By the way, the final score was 94-109, but the game is never even close. It never felt like they could come back and win this game. Let's talk about a game where I did think that they could have a chance, and they did close the lead, and I did think they could really maybe win the game, but no, that did not happen. By the way, if you guys if we just would like to talk about this, I think it's insane that Jaylen Brown decided that he needed to put the cape on. So like, is he sandbagging? Is that what we want to say? That Jaylen Brown is a sandbagger? That like he just sees his opponent and is like, I don't really need to go all out. Because like the second Tatum went down, bro was like, oh right, I am supposed to be a good NBA player. He was not good. That's just needless to say, he was not as good. He was not good in game one. But this game, he put on a clinic, low key. I mean, like 36 points. 36 points, 10 rebounds. Now, none of them were offensive rebounds, but let's be honest, they didn't need those. Their shots were going in. These are all defensive rebounds. 5 assists, 3 turnovers, which the 3 turnovers were really bad. I'm not gonna lie. There's been a like long history of people saying that he has no left hand. I just think the motherfucker can't dribble. I don't know how he fooled me into thinking he had handles back in 2019. Oh, that's 2019. That's way too early in his timeline. I think it was 2021. He fooled me into thinking he really had handles like that, and he'd really developed. He needs to go back into the gym and work on those again. But other than that, this guy was lethal last night. 5 of 7 from 3, which is, I mean, if Jaylen Brown is going to shoot like that, pack it up. It's already over. You can go ahead and hand him the trophy, because Jaylen Brown has not been like that this entire season. I want to say this is an outlier game, but that's all it takes in a playoff series. One game can really sway everything. So yeah, Kristaps Porzingis last night, just terrible luck for that guy. Just like terrible luck. He caught an elbow from Goga, who's on the Magic, and it was very unintentional, as the film would show it. He got a crazy gash from that guy's elbow right in his head. Obviously, he's winding up and doesn't even know Kristaps is there, and because he thinks he got fouled going up for a rebound, and he swings. Right, doesn't know he's there. I think this is why flagrant fouls need to have like intention behind them to qualify as a flagrant foul. I know you're saying, well, then how would we hold the players accountable? I'm sorry, but this one was so unintentional. If I'm a ref, I'm like, I get that there's wind up and it harmed the player, but like the intent just was clearly not there. And I don't think flagrant foul should be called like that. But hey, again, that's not how it's written in the rule book. They had to call. They called it correct. The call was correct. Horford was bad last night too. I don't know why I was remembering him a little bit more favorably than he was, but he was bad last night as well. 9 points. I mean, Horford is a role player, but like Horford was bad for a role player last night too. The shooting was The defense was The rebounding was Porzingis was fine. Porzingis was pretty good. 20 points. Derek White didn't have the same game that he had in game 1, but remember, he had 32 points, and it was crazy. And illustrated that they didn't really need Tatum to win. I felt that way. I felt that way in game 1. So when I came into game 2 and they were telling me that he was actually not playing, I was gonna be like, honestly, that might be better for them, because I would much rather have someone else. I would much rather divvy up the rest of those shots with them than have an injured Tatum play, or worse, Tatum that showed up in game 1 just plays worse and still takes those shots. Because remember, if these shots are not going to Tatum, they're going to be divided up again amongst Brown. I don't want to say Horford, because at this point in his career, let's be honest, Drew Holiday and Derek White are going to take those shots, and then Peyton Pritchard is also going to get more shots, which is a good thing. Peyton Pritchard was probably their second best player, I'm going to be honest. He only had 14 points, and he's going to win 6 Man of the Year this year for a reason. He is a very good role player. Now, I don't think he should meet the qualifications for a 6 Man of the Year award, because he played 32 fucking minutes. And this is not like an outlier thing. He averages quite a few minutes. I actually want to pull that up, because I feel like a video that I uploaded previously, I was talking about the 6 Man of the Year award and race, blah, blah, blah. I just feel like he plays way too many minutes, and there should be a cutoff. It should be around 30-ish. But, like, that's pushing it for me. Stat mute. No, not points, dumbass. I said minutes. That was way less minutes off. That's not the right year. I might have to walk that take back. I was wrong, apparently. But like, that doesn't scream what I'm thinking. Let me see stat moves. Hold on. That's a site. Wait, no. What about how many minutes per game? 28. I was wrong. Hey, I was wrong. Yeah, I was wrong. I think 28 minutes per game is a fair amount of minutes. Yeah, confirmation bias is what it is. Let's actually talk about the most entertaining game of the entire schedule last night. Unfortunately, this game was on NBA TV. Now, going into this game, I was like, I know they can't do this for logistic reasons, because the commentators are already there and they didn't know that Tatum was not going to be playing, right? And stuff. And like, they can't do that for TV right reasons. But like, dog, if this one should have been the nationally televised game, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a biased Cleveland Cavaliers fan, it was the best game of the night. It was the only game that had real stakes and tension. This game got within like 3 points in one possession. Not in one possession, obviously, but it came that close, and it was very scary. Because I thought Miami first. For a second, I was like, oh, dude, Miami's going to win. And it has a lot. It has a lot to do with Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero was phenomenal last night. Now, his 3-point percentage is a bit lower than I thought it was last night. But the brother was shooting lights out. He shot 14 of 24, which is amazing. He took 11 threes and made 4 of those. He only attempted 1 free throw, but again, he's a jump shooting guard. I'm not really expecting him to get to the line that often, but his jump shot was on last night. It was on the game before, but it was on last night. Finished the game with 33 points. Only 2 turnovers, and how many assists is that? 5 assists. That's fine for him, and I don't really want him to be passing the ball a whole lot, so Yeah, he was like a flash in a pan bright. You know how if you ever seen a light so bright that the camera thinks it's dark in comparison around it because it's trying to process it, it's like, huh, everything else is dark. This thing's really bright. Yeah, that bright. That's how he looked on the Miami Heat last night. Bam Adebayo, offensively, another subpar game from him. As far as scoring goes, rebounding, he was great. 14 rebounds. That's what I expect from him. Better than they expected, honestly. He had 9 assists and only 2 turnovers. He was dishing that ball out. Now, his shooting from 3, I don't know why he took 5 threes. I'm going to be honest. Not sure why he did that. Bam is... Like, I know these are uncontested shots because I don't want Allen out of the paint to go guard him on the three-point line. So these are open shots that he's missing, unless I'm poorly mistaken. But these are open shots he was missing. Andrew Wiggins, he had an Andrew Wiggins game. He was not good. 10 points. Yeah, the Warriors could have used those 10 points. Don't get it twisted last night. But hey, there is a reason they traded this guy. By the way, those 10 points, 3 of them came from the free throw line. I want you to make an educated guess on where the rest of those came from. I'll tell you, actually. It's 1 for 4 from 3, 3 for 10 from the field. Not good. Like, very not good. And it was the shots. And again, it's not like his shot selection was bad. I would ask of him to take like 15 shots a game, probably. There were other guys who had it on as far as like shooting wise, so I see like why you don't want to force it, but I would prefer if Wiggins took those shots. Davion Mitchell had a great game last night. He was 18 points. Now you're not and Davion Mitchell is always going to be great on the defensive end. He was perfect, in my opinion, on the defensive end, as perfect as you could be, having to deal with Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, your other evil twin in Mitchell, and then having to deal with Ty Jerome as well. He was really good on all 3 of those guys. That didn't stop them from being them, but like, and trying to get the switch off of this guy. Obviously, he's a great isolation defender. Spoelstra has realized that. Everyone realizes that in the NBA. If you actually know who this guy is, he is different, really. But last night he shot really well. 2 for 4 from 3, 4 threes, about as much as I wanted to take from him. He hit 2 really big threes. These were very important threes, and they came very important times. And and when he hit them, I was sitting there like, damn, we might actually lose this game. Mind you, he also shot 7 of 9 from the field, which was, it doesn't get much better than this. I would pull up his true shooting percentages to like really illustrate this point, but that would take a long time to do. And I had to edit, and I don't want to do that. But yeah, Kyle Ware was also really good, in my opinion, in the short spurts that he played. He only played 19 minutes. 19 minutes in the playoff game is like not a lot. Is a lot for like a role player of his caliber. But you need to think about it like this. When he's playing on the floor, that means that he's also having to guard because he's a center. Mobley and or Allen. So, in those minutes, he was pretty good. I don't think he really did that badly. Now, the team's turnovers as a whole are not... As a whole, they're not the greatest, obviously. But honestly, if everyone on the team individually is only giving you around 1.5 around each player, I'm averaging it out, trying to average it out by just looking at it, giving like 1.5, you're probably going to lose. But I think most of the teams just doesn't have a lot of ball handlers on it, to be quite honest. I think if they had better guard play, outside of just Tyler Hero and Davion Mitchell, they could have won this game. And that's what it came down to in the end. Guard play. Speaking of guard play, though, I really do have to finally talk about my team. I did want to give them their flowers, though, because they played really well. And I think, especially considering this was the 10th seed in a, I don't want to say a very tough Eastern Conference, but they were the 10th seed. They gave the 1 seed a run for their money in a historically great offense. They played really great defense. They played really hard. They were decent and really good at rebounding. Let's talk about the Cavaliers. Right away, I want to talk about this immediately. The Cavaliers did not miss a lot of free throws last night. That also swayed the game. There's only 2 missed free throws on this entire team. 1 from Donovan Mitchell and 1 from Darius Garland, and they are also the leading scorers as far as free throws. As far as points, And we're just talking about hooping. Hey, the defensive player of the year and my favorite six man, because I should acknowledge at this point that hey, hey, I was wrong about Peyton Pritchard and the minutes that he played. I would still like to pull up Ty Jerome's because I think he also just had a very good game. Ty Jerome. This is probably going to be a very boring video in comparison because I'm looking at stats and not as passionate or talking as much. Let's see how many minutes a game. Oh, I'm sorry. 19 minutes a game. Whoa, how many does he? Hey, chat. Remember when I was saying like maybe I was wrong? I was like, dang, but I was like, he plays like starters minutes. Yeah. Ty Jerome averages less than 20 minutes per game. Now it's 19.9 minutes a game, so round up, obviously 20 minutes per game. I was right in my video. Never mind. I take back what I said. You're not gonna get an apology from me. You owe me an apology for doubting me. Ty Jerome averages bro, he averages 8 to 9 less minutes than this guy. That is so I was right about his production. Yeah. I'll take my apologies back. Maybe in the form of uppies and or cookies. Thank you very much. Ty Jerome had another great game. Ty Jerome had let's see. Oh wait, no, I'm looking at the. That. Never mind. Ty Jerome did not have a really great game in his second game of the playoffs. He had 6 points, which not great, but he didn't have the volume as normal. DeAndre Hunter had it going on, and Sam Merrill also had it going on as far as 3-point shooting. Isaac Okoro played solid defense in the less than 10 minutes he played. I think I would like to see Isaac Okoro a little bit more. Dean Wade probably just played the remainder of this game once it was out of reach, and short little stints. Has no shots attempted either, so that's a thing. Probably just out. He was out there for spacing purposes. I'm gonna be giving him a little bit of bail. Let's see, DeAndre Hunter. DeAndre Hunter had a good night. 12 points. I swear, I'm looking at the shot attempts. You would not think that he got to 12 points. Especially considering he only shot 2 free throws. That is actually, I'm actually kind of surprised about that. That's interesting, to say the least. Donovan Mitchell had 30 points. Now here's where we get to the very fun and entertaining thing. Not only did he had, let's see, I don't want to do this. So he finished the game with 30 points. Again, that's 2 games back to back, by the way. Finished the game with 30 points. He had 17 points in the fourth quarter. In the fourth quarter alone, he had 17 points. He was absolutely... Remember when I was telling you about Tyler Hero and how, like, bright he was shining? These two were dueling, and it was amazing. It was why the game felt as close as it did. It was why the stakes felt as high as they did, even though this is the 1 seed versus an 8 seed. I haven't felt... That game was electric. I haven't felt that electric in the game. Like I going back and forth close like that in any of these other playoff games yet. And it's not just because it was my team. I was just like... And I was panicking for my team for a second. I was sitting there like... oh my god, are they gonna lose? Yeah, but I was like that for a little bit. Darius Garland had 21 points last night and 9 assists. I haven't talked about a lot of people's assists on this team real quick. Donovan Mitchell did have 6 assists and only 1 turnover, but Darius Garland also had 9 assists and only 1 turnover. That ratio is amazing. Both of those are really good. They really illustrated how great of passers they were, even though both of these guys had it going on offensively. 21 points. Darius Garland only shot 2 from 8 3, but again, like that's just gonna happen sometimes. That's how you average like 40% from 3. You're gonna have some games like that, and 8 threes is not offensive to me in the slightest. Donovan Mitchell. Remember last game when I was like, he was like 2 for... I think he might have been like 2 for 13, which was not good, or it might have been 2 for 14. This game he stepped it up. He was... Last game he was driving to the basket. This game he was mashing threes. That brother had 7 of 10 shooting from threes. That means more than half of his shot... Slightly less than half of his shots came from 3. My bad. 10 to 21 from the field overall. Not as good, but if most of your shots are threes and they're going in like that, hey, bro, you do whatever you want. Jared Allen was very good, serviceable, played great defense in my opinion. He was a primary matchup for Bam when Evan Mobley was off the court, but Evan Mobley was the primary matchup for Bam. Speaking of Evan Mobley had 20 points last night. It was pretty good. The shot selection was there. There was a couple threes that he made splash. Actually, he splashed 3 threes in, and he only took 6 of them. 6 threes, I can respect that from him. That is a respectable amount that I want him to be taking. I want him to be taking that and making about 2 to 3 of them a game. So but I only really want like 5 or 6 threes. That's it. Max Strus shot all of his shots from 3 last night, and he averaged 50, and that on with 50%. Now the plus minus is gonna lie to you a little bit and tell you that he was not very impactful. That is not true. All of these threes were very clutch and very important. He just happened to be in the game at the wrong times, apparently. That's why his plus minus looks like that. Yeah, this was a great game by everybody involved. I'm really proud of the Cavaliers. I'm proud of Houston for handling their business. I'm proud of Jalen Green for having a great game. And as far as Boston goes, I still hate you, but I must respect that even without your best player, you put belt to ass on Orlando. Every time they thought they could come back, you reminded them, hey man, we're the champions and we ain't going nowhere. So that's going to be it for this video. If you liked the video, like and subscribe. If you didn't like the video, don't dislike it. I'm a small channel. What are you, crazy? What the fuck? Yeah, if you didn't like the video, just tell me why you didn't like it in the comment section. Engagement farm. And as far as like what you guys want to see in the next video, I have no idea. That would require someone to watch these. Goodbye.